Hey, welcome everyone for our Monday edition of NFL Fantasy Podcast. Jed and I are the ones who will be joining you today because Tommy's out in Dallas. So, Jed, I know both of us are watching the Bears game right now, but thanks for jumping on this evening.
Oh yeah, congrats on getting this up without Tommy. I'm impressed.
It's
like
hard.
like
No, it's. I mean, you would think it's easy, but it's actually harder than you think.
no, Tommy does a great job, and he's been adding in all the slides and the videos and the music. I mean, he's all over it. So we have to both better appreciate him now.
Well, I when he was trying to teach me how to do this, I was like, oh shit, I figure out how to do slides and music. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do the basic thing.
Yeah, not for your first time.
Well, okay, first thing, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you and I were texting about literally within the last 30 minutes of
Yeah.
us getting on. James Robinson got traded to the New York Jets.
Yeah, that was huge. And we were just saying,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
yeah, what a great. I think basically, if you have either James Robinson or Travis Etienne, this is the best possible scenario for both because Robinson's going into a perfect situation with Brees Hall out for the year. So he's going to, even though he's got Michael Carter behind him, I think Robinson's going to get all the play there. And then Travis Etienne, if you've been watching, we've been talking about it, his carries have inched up every single week. The last 2 weeks, he's
Oh yeah,
top three in rushing. So I think now it's just going to be hopefully he just stays healthy and we'll just kill it for the second half of the year.
I mean, he scored almost 20 fantasy points yesterday. He got the majority of the shares of the usage, and Robinson really didn't do much. I wonder. I wonder if they knew that they were going to eventually look for a trade partner for Robinson.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like we had said in the beginning, it seemed like Etienne was clearly the better back, but probably just, pass protection. That's always the biggest thing. They all got to learn pass protection. But Etienne, I mean, it's exactly what we'd hope for. His combination of, special talent rushing the ball, but also the ability to catch out of the backfield. You put those two together. I mean, he's like an Austin Eckler, who's been really on fire the past few weeks too, as well. So, but I'm excited about Etienne. I was just thinking in my mind, who would I be willing to trade for Etienne? And I was thinking, because I've got Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry. I mean, I think I'd consider that, especially in a keeper, because Etienne is to me just a really special talent.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about this yesterday, right? With Kenny Walker yesterday did tremendous.
Oh,
Right?
he did great. Yeah.
Etienne, from now, I mean, we're not even in the midpoint. Etienne's going to take over. I think he'll have a pretty good year. You might see some of the dynamics of who the top running backs are in the league changing this year.
Oh, it's already shifting. I mean, we were just saying the last 2 weeks, the top three rushing backs are Kenny Walker, Travis Etienne, and Saquon Barkley. And so it's an exciting year though. It's funny because you think about it. Beginning of the year, it felt like running back was really weak. That everyone's searching for running back. Now I feel like with Dameon Pierce too. I mean, there's just a lot. It seems like there's more options. Even with Christian McCaffrey going to San Francisco, and then everyone jumping on Carolina. And I think both Chuba Hubbard and what's his name? Who was the other back? It was Chuba Hubbard and
Foreman, right?
Yeah, and Foreman.
Yeah.
I feel like they both worked out okay. You got decent points for both. So it seems like there's a lot of options now.
So let me tell you. Okay, so let me tell you one of my leagues. I have Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, Kenny Walker, Ezekiel Elliott, Eno Benjamin, Brian Robinson, Pacheco, and then Henderson from the Rams.
Yeah,
so
I got too many running backs. You need to get some wide receivers.
So yeah, but I'm also happy because in our dynasty league, I got Pacheco, I got Harris, Pollard, Etienne, and then McCaffrey. So I feel like, you know what? I would not be surprised if I have all running backs next year in terms of dynasty.
Well, yeah, Etienne and McCaffrey. I mean, that's a great combo. I love McCaffrey in San Francisco. As great as he was in Carolina, I think he's an even better situation for him. It's just, again, a question of health. If the guy can stay healthy, you got to like the situation for him.
Did you hear that Deebo Samuel got nicked up during the game on Sunday?
I didn't.
He did not practice on him today. I mean, I don't know how serious it is, but he did not practice.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, DK Metcalf high ankle. It was a high ankle sprain, and then they lost.
Mike Williams is out for a few weeks, right?
Yep.
I think they were taking some precautions in terms of having what's his name, Keenan Allen, out there.
Yep. And then if y'all didn't hear, Matt Ryan has been benched for the Colts, and Sam Ellinger, I think, is going to
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
new starting quarterback. So for me, I think that's a downgrade. I think I've got Michael Pittman, who's been really up and down all year, and so I'm probably going to sit him just to kind of see how that fleshes out. But I'm really disappointed in the Colts. I was really excited about the Colts all year. They haven't really panned out.
yeah.
You got to hope that with Jonathan Taylor back, that it starts to pick back up.
Do you think Ellinger might even be somebody that you might want to take a look at?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a quarterback, it's not a bad idea. Although there's some decent options now out there.
Daniel Jones, right? Like I needed a quarterback. He was the only one out there. He got me 26 points. He did
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, and it's such a surprising league. I mean, last week we were talking about the Patriots were 13 and a half point favorites against Carolina. Carolina comes out and beats them straight. And now you got the Bears 10 points up on the Patriots, and then Green Bay lost three straight,
yeah.
with this third one against it's just this league that's why the NFL is so great. There's so much parity, it's really hard to predict who's gonna win.
Yeah, a couple of other notes from this weekend. David Njoku from Cleveland Browns
Mm,
is out. Harrison Bryant most likely will take over from Brees Hall, right? We talked a little bit about that. Michael
yeah.
Carter and James Robinson is going to replace him. Corey Davis. Did you see Corey Davis has an
Oh, I didn't
MCL
see that
sprain?
for the Jets.
Yeah, and so he'll be out for a few weeks. So that means Garrett Wilson or Elijah Moore. Do you have any thoughts on who's going to be that receiver that'll take over?
I don't. That's a really good question. I'm not sure. You probably just take a coin flip on two of those. The more that I was interested in was DJ Moore, because he was clamoring to get out of Carolina.
Yeah.
They kept him and basically said they wouldn't trade him. He got a touchdown this past weekend, and they were saying how they see him as a cornerstone of that franchise. So I was kind of thinking about DJ Moore is maybe not a bad guy, that he might start turning things around now.
Jed, did you see in our dynasty league someone dropped DJ Moore? I picked him
No,
up.
they did. Oh
Yeah, did you see that?
man.
I was like sitting there. I was like, why did it drop
Yeah.
Moore? Right?
Yeah, that's a
And
mistake.
yeah, yeah. So I picked him up. So
The
yeah.
one other one, and we'll see how the Bears, do tonight. I was going to mention was there is a little bit of chatter that the Bears might trade Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
so
no,
if
that's how. Well, because he is in his last contract year, and they got
yeah,
Herbert out there, right? Yeah.
exactly. So I was kind of looking at
He
Herbert to
just got an
see.
interception, by the way. The Bears.
Oh, really?
They just got an
Man,
interception.
this is such a crazy season. But
Yeah.
if the Bears were to trade Montgomery, man, Herbert would. I just they showed up a stat on I think it was on the broadcast, that Herbert has the highest per carry average of any running back right now, with a certain minimum number of carries.
Jet, I mean, if I had a dynasty league and I had room, and I just picked up Pacheco, right? So I'm betting Pacheco will be like that number one running back. But I pick up Herbert
Yeah,
because I think
yeah.
that if Montgomery's gone, Herbert's a pretty good replacement.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. And you got to think, if the Bears just keep getting better, we'll see. I mean, if they could somehow pull off a win tonight, that would be really amazing. I was
Yeah,
not expecting that, but they're playing pretty well right now.
yeah. Pacheco had played 30% of the snaps. McKinnon played 44% of the snaps. Do you think Pacheco's going to have a good future for the Chiefs?
I mean, we like his talent, right? You saw that in the preseason, and Mahomes was all about Pacheco and was really
Yeah,
a lot of people drafted him based on that, and then he hasn't really played that much. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a decent game too. I think he might have got the touchdown, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, for
32
this last
yards,
game.
touchdown. So he had about
Yeah,
10 fantasy points.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
But it's
still think,
tough.
yeah, I'm still hoping Pacheco will be the. I'm going to bet on Pacheco. How about that?
I mean, I think my biggest concern is just the offensive system in KC has just not been friendly to the running backs over the past couple years. They understand that Mahomes is basically how they're going to go far.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hope that they would, incorporate him and use. I mean, Pacheco is basically like an ETN. If they were to use him properly, he could have the same kind of
Oh
output.
yeah, yeah. Who else? Let's see. AJ Dillon. He only had four rushes for 15 yards. He's disappeared the last
Well,
couple.
Aaron Jones had a good game. I think
Yeah,
Aaron Jones had like 2 touchdowns.
but
I want to say.
their running game has not been good. I think total they've only rushed no more than 40 yards. But Aaron Jones had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, well, Green Bay right now is just in disarray. This is definitely the most. Well, I was reading that this was the first time going in. So Green Bay is playing Buffalo, and they are 10-point underdogs, and it's the first time Aaron Rodgers has been a 10-point underdog his whole career.
Yeah,
And so it really tells you, the wheels are kind of falling off But knowing Green Bay, I could see them putting together a good game even against the Bills.
You know what I was thinking that would be kind of neat, but this would be like the Peyton and Eli show. If there was a way that I could put a screen on here with the Monday Night Football game, so I'm not going back and forth between two screens, and we're just talking about fantasy, that would be. But I'm sure there's a lot of rules. I bet they won't allow us to do that.
Oh yeah, to broadcast it. You're right. That's right. But it would be fun to watch it together and comment on it. That would be a lot of fun because I've just been impressed. I was listening to they have President Obama on there.
So really? Oh, with Eli and Peyton?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So he was talking about playing golf. He's a pretty good golfer. He shot at 87, and Peyton Manning shot at 81, but they were playing together. They showed their scorecard. And so he's a smart guy, obviously. So it's kind of fun listening to him.
No, the Bears on offense right now. They just got the ball from New England. No, wait, no. Who's it? Oh yeah, they got the ball from New England. They're just showing the interception that they just made as well too. Nice. No. Okay, so let's see. Juju Smith-Schuster did great, 124 yards, TD. He's been the leading receiver for Patrick Mahomes last few weeks. Kenneth Walker, we talked about 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. So those guys, along with Patrick Mahomes, they did well this week.
Well, Kenny Walker, I think for anyone, remember we had one league, somebody paid $87 out of their $100 budget to get him. And you know what, though? It's paid out. The last 2 weeks, he's been top 5 running back. So I think, it was a smart move. Seattle has got to be one of the surprise stories. No one expected Seattle and Denver, right? Everyone expected Russell Wilson to go to Denver to be the good team. Man, Geno Smith and Seattle is hung in there and played pretty darn well. But now with DK Metcalf hurt, it's going to be interesting to see how what impact that has. But Kenny Walker looks like the real deal.
Yeah, with Seattle, with Metcalf out, they did say that he's coming back, so he's not out for the season.
Yeah.
Marquise Goodwin.
He had a good game, right? Didn't he have
7 yards, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, he had a really good game. So that could be an interesting pickup.
Yeah. The other 2 players I was looking at, Tony Pollard played 65% of the snaps. Elliott only played 49% of the snaps. You think there's a change in guard there coming sooner?
I hope so. I hope they make that move. I mean, it felt like they were kind of easing Dak Prescott in, right? What
almost
happened?
A fumble by the Bears.
Oh, no. Almost a fumble or a fumble?
Yeah. Sack and a fumble, but they went out of bounds. So, See, that's the thing is sometimes I feel like, I think, who is it? Tommy said this last time. Fields relies too much on this athleticism. He's not a smart player, right? And you could tell, even who was it? Did you watch the Pittsburgh game yesterday night?
Yeah. With
the last play, right?
Yeah.
Remember the quarterback's name?
Pickens.
Yeah, he could have just ran, and so what he did was he tried to force the ball to Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
And he got picked off, right?
Yep.
He had 20 yards in front of him. And some of these guys, and maybe they're young, but they need to be smarter players.
Well, it's hard to make the decision on the fly like that, but
but Tom Brady wouldn't have made that mistake.
I don't know, man. Brady, I don't know if you saw all the memes after he lost. There were memes coming out saying, Giselle was right. You should have stayed retired. I was like, oh, that's pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay, I dropped Drake London. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Drake London, Atlanta has been really disappointing. And no, I don't think that's a bad move. I don't know. I thought Marcus Mariota was going to be the guy. Kyle Pitts, I don't know if people can actually drop Pitts. I have Pitts. I haven't played him for the past couple weeks. He sat on my bench, but it's tough to drop him. But you might have to consider it at this point.
No, I've actually seriously. I mean, my only worry is that at some point he's going to come around, right? Maybe they'll go with a new quarterback, whatever it is. But yesterday he got me 3 fantasy points. From that position, I want at least 9 fantasy points. But he's supposed to have gotten you 14 fantasies, somewhere in the double digits.
Well, the only thing that's tricky with him is, you're right. Last year, he did the exact same thing. He had a great second half. His first half, he was not very good. And then his second half was very good. And so that's that's the tricky thing is you wonder if they've just been holding him back, but I don't know. It's really he and Waller out in
Oh,
Las
Las
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Those have been the two guys that have been so disappointing, and I have them on virtually every team. I have either Darren Waller
Yeah.
or Kyle Pitts.
I'm trying to trade Najee Harris. He only got 17 rush attempts, 65
Mm.
yards, 9 Did you know that Daniel Jones has more rushing yards, total rushing yards this season than Najee Harris does?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, the Giants and the Jets. I mean, that's what we were saying. Remember at the beginning of the year, I said, okay, I'm not making fun of these two teams anymore, but I didn't expect them to be good this year. I expected them to be better, but not good. But boy, they look really good. I mean, the Jets defense looks incredible. And
Yeah,
so, we'll just got to see. You never know.
yeah. Chuba Hubbard or Deontay Foreman?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I personally, even though Hubbard got the touchdown, Foreman, if you look at it, I think he had 14 carries, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He had double digit carries. He had over 100 yards. So I really like Foreman there. But it feels like a Dallas situation where maybe you can play both back and still be okay. Oh, the other one I wanted to mention was Kareem Hunt in
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland. He's another trade guy. I think Cleveland thought they were starting up. They're like what 2-4 now, I think, and
Yeah.
so you might see them start to think about selling. And if they do, and Kareem Hunt goes anywhere, that's a guy to take a look at because I think he can still play.
Well, we've got 8 days from the November 1st deadline, which is the deadline for NFL for these
Yep.
teams to make trades.
Yep.
So I can see you're going to see a number of players. I think that's going to be moved, whether it's because like a David Montgomery, where they're on the last year of their contract, and these guys are just trying to get some assets out of them.
Yeah, so it's a smart move if you can find those guys and target them. But it's tricky. I mean, you're always taking it was funny how many people jumped out to get Foreman or jumped out to get Hubbard. Or actually I got what's his name? Kenyon Drake. He didn't do
Yeah,
nothing. He got me like 0.5 points.
yeah.
I
Plus
wasted that
Edwards
slot.
got. I mean, I had
Yes.
him on my bench, but he got me 18 fantasy points.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns. So, that and people warned about that they were, I saw that Gus Edwards was coming back, but it looked like, man, Kenyon Drake looked really good, but no, I'm dropping him across the board now.
Who, Kenyon Drake?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good time to look at some of the waiver wire pickup for this week.
Yep.
I'll tell you a couple, then you can tell me if you would pick them up. Van Jefferson comes off of the IR. Would he be somebody that you would look at for?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize he was coming off of the IR. Maybe for a bench spot. I don't know about starting him, but maybe for a bench spot.
Yeah. How about Michael Carter? I know that he's been on a lot of people's teams, but with Brees Hall coming on the last few weeks, a lot of people were dumping Michael Carter.
Yeah, and now with James Robinson, but it's interesting because James Robinson is he going to be really the full time, or is he going to split with Carter? But even if he splits with Carter, I think Robinson still is the guy you want. So no, I don't think I would want a Carter. I feel like there's a lot of options right now.
By the way, who started the game? Because Zappy just threw a touchdown, and now they're down 10-7.
Oh, so
Did
Mac Jones start and then they switched?
Yeah, I thought Mac Jones started, right?
Wow. He was supposed to be the starter. Wow, that is interesting, man. Belichick just knows how to get these guys. I mean, to have both those guys is pretty impressive.
Do you think that it's going to be a committee, or do you think at some point it's going to be either Zappy or Mac Jones?
I don't think he would. Yeah, I think he would commit to one. I'd be surprised if he does any kind of a committee.
Look, if Zappy does better here, I can see them going. I mean, look, with Brady, he'll go with the hot hand, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. He has that luxury. Not all coaches have that luxury, but Belichick definitely does. He can pretty much play whoever he wants.
All right, Sam Ellinger, would you pick him up?
No, I don't think so. Quarterback position. A lot of people I've seen, like what's his name? Kirk Cousins was on the waiver because of the bye. Mm-hmm. So was Matthew Stafford,
Daniel Jones, Jared, Jimmy G. Actually, I think I would pick him up before all of these guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a great situation there, and he's been turning. And actually, that's why I've been playing Ayuk. I was like this close to dropping Ayuk, and then that trade happened, and I was like, okay, no way, because Jimmy G and him have played really well together. So, yeah, there's a couple interesting ones like that. So, no, I don't think I would pick up Ellinger.
I think that the top waiver wire pickups this week. I mean, Gus Edwards might be still on some people's waiver wire. Deontay Foreman, Van Jefferson, Marquise Goodwin. We talked about him with
Yep.
Seattle. I think he'd be a good replacement, especially right like Tyler Lockett. Can be off and on. I think he'll be the number one receiver, but Marquise Goodwin, with the way that they're throwing it, might be a good bet to pick up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think you're right. Yeah, Gus Edwards. It's interesting how many people were picking up. What is this? Williams for the Rams.
Oh, Kyren Williams.
Kyren
Yeah.
Williams.
That's because there was all these articles about how he's going to be the hot person, once they settle in. So
yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people picked him up. I'm just looking at at least in Yahoo, he was like one of the top pickups. 20,000 people added him, so that's really interesting.
I know we talked about this, but what do you think about Mecole Hardman? He scored 26 fantasy points,
3 touchdowns.
Right? What do you think about him?
Well, I think your brother was right. Your brother said, Tommy said, hey, he's going to have his one great week and then disappear. And I think that's probably right. Like, I don't know that he's going to be continuing to do that. I think again, the consistency at the wide receiver position in Kansas City is very difficult. It's really only the tight end that gives you those consistent points. I will mention, I'm just seeing here, Tyler Higbee was on bye, so a lot of people dropped him at the tight end spot. So that's another guy you might think about.
Yeah. Who is it? There's 2 rookies that were really high on. Romeo Dobbs with Green Bay, and then also George Pickens. I've since have dropped Dobbs just because he has not done anything. But Pickens yesterday had 15 fantasy points.
No, I've got Pickens in a couple leagues. Again, the thing with him is you want to look at the attempts, and he's got all the attempts. So he's definitely somebody to hold on to.
Yeah. Harrison Bryant, I think we talked about that. They need a replacement for Njoku. So he might be – what did he do this week? He didn't do much, but, I think he'll be a decent replacement.
Yeah, the other guy, Dalton Schultz, still kind of working a little bit on injury. I forgot if it was his hamstring or something. But pay attention to him because I saw him on a couple waiver wires. And if you can get a hold of a Dalton Schultz, I think eventually that'll pay out once Dak Prescott gets a little settled in.
Okay. Oh, here's the other person I was going to talk to you about. Boone is out for Denver. Who would you pick up, Melvin Gordon or Latavius Murray?
Honestly, neither. I don't like Denver right now.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not scoring enough points. So honestly, if I could stay away from it, I'd rather have like a Hubbard. Even if he thinks he's going to be second, I'd rather even have a Hubbard over that.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson or Elijah Moore?
Oh.
Who's going to be a better pickup?
Yeah, maybe Garrett Wilson, maybe?
I think so. Elijah Moore seems to be on the way out. Garrett Moore, look, after the second week where he did really well, and he scored 28 fantasy points, everything's been in single digit, but they haven't targeted him, and that was with Joe Flacco. So maybe now without Corey Davis, I would consider taking a flyer on him.
Yeah. I was just trying to see who else that popped here. Yeah, Hunter Henry. Oh, Freiermuth, he had a decent game with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Algier, the running back from Tyler Algier, the running back.
Yep, Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I think those are a couple of good waiver wire pickups to look at.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, the Bears are on the move right now.
Still 10-7.
Yeah, still 10-7. Fields is throwing it. He got intercepted.
Oh, great. Good timing.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Jed, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, no, this was fun. It was fun to, I'm glad you figured out how to do it. So now we got backup.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll tape next week. So thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Yep. Sounds good.
Take care. Sign off. Thanks.